This time I know I said then stopped, because your face had already answered me. You let the silence finish what I could not. I had brought the future you once asked for, certain I could still change everything. You said yesterday I stopped waiting, no promise after that could change your mind. No anger, no blame, only the kindness of someone who had already cried enough. You stopped waiting yesterday, I came one day too late. The answer you had asked of me was finally mine to give. You loved me long enough to leave. I chose you after hope was gone. Once you asked, where is this going? I told you love was all we needed. When you asked me about tomorrow, I answered, we still have time. I mistook your patience for forever, your silence for a love that could not end. Each time I refused to choose us, you learned to live without me. Or say that love had failed. You left while love remained between us, because I made you wait too long. You stopped waiting yesterday, I came one day too late. I brought the life you once had wanted. When you no longer wanted me, you loved me long enough to leave. And I chose you after you were gone. No longer asked me where I had been. I believe the worst of us was over. I thought the quiet in your voice meant we had finally learned to rest. You stopped asking what I wanted. You stopped telling me what hurt. And I mistook the space between us for a love that had grown calm. I never heard the hope grow weaker, I only heard the fighting stop. I mistook your silence for peace. I thought your heart had come to rest while it was learning how to leave. I called the distance time I heard what you were saying, you had nothing left to say at all. Now I remember how you watched me, waiting for a truth I would not give. I answered every fear with patience, as if time alone could keep us close. Each time you asked a little less, I mistook it for your kindness. I did not know that love grows quieter when it has no strength to fight. You were leaving long before goodbye, while I believed you still were mine. If I had listened to the silence, I might have known what it had cost. But I heard only what I wanted, and called your loneliness devotion, until you had no more to give. I mistook your silence for peace, while your heart was learning not to need me. I called the distance understanding, until you could not stay anymore. You did not leave without a warning. You had warned me all along. I mistook your silence for peace. I was the one who heard it wrong. You were alone while I was there. You said, I don't know how to reach you anymore. I looked at you and answered, I'm right here. That was how little I understood. I measured love by whether I stayed, by every promise I had never broken, by all the days I did not leave. But you were not asking where I was. You were asking whether I could see you. I remember now how carefully you chose your words, how often you began to tell me something, then stopped before you reached the end. I believe the trouble had grown smaller, because you asked for less from me. I did not know you had stopped expecting to be heard. After you left, I called it abandonment. I told myself you had given up too soon. I counted everything I made your leaving seem unfair. It took me years to face the harder truth. You had reached for me again and again. I met every feeling with an explanation, every hurt with words I thought would help, every loneliness with "you know I love you." I meant those words, but I used them instead of facing your pain. I was beside you, but I never reached the part of you that hurt. I knew the things that frightened you. I saw when being strong became an effort. Still I waited for the hard days to pass, instead of learning how to carry some of them. You were not asking me to be perfect. You were asking not to face them alone. You were alone while I was there. That is the part I cannot forgive in myself. Not that you left me, not that another life began without me. What hurts is knowing you once lay beside me and felt there was no one you could turn to. I loved you, I know that now, but love that never reaches someone can leave them just as lonely as no love at all. You were alone while I was there. You loved me in the beginning. I loved you near the end. You made room for me in every plan. I kept my future to myself. You spoke about us without hesitation. I answered only for today. I cared for you, but kept a distance, afraid of needing anyone. You gave your whole heart without hiding. I gave you only what felt safe. We never loved at the same time. When you were certain, I held back. You gave your whole heart to us. I always kept a little back. By the time I turned to you completely, something in your heart had changed. It did not happen in one moment. Nothing ended in a day. You slowly stopped imagining your We were still together when I noticed you no longer looked as far ahead. You did not leave because you hated me. I did not change because I feared goodbye. The love you carried first had grown exhausted, just as mine had finally come alive. We never loved at the same time. You opened first, I answered late. You built your world around the two of us. I learned to do that as yours changed. It was not that love was missing, and neither one of us was wrong. You loved me most when I was guarded. I loved you most when yours was fading. You loved me in the beginning. I loved you near the end. That night, you asked me if there was still a reason. I looked away and said there was nothing left. The words came out before I could stop them. Pride kept me still when you asked me once again. You took my answer as the truth. I watched you leave without correcting it, certain I could explain it all tomorrow. By morning, you had closed the distance between us, and every hour made the lie sound more complete, until my silence became the only answer you believed. I never stopped loving you that night. I only said the cruelest thing I knew. You carried those words further than I meant them to go, while I kept waiting for the courage to undo them. Now the truth has nowhere left to go. It is too late to explain. For weeks I rehearsed the words I should have spoken. Each time I waited for a better moment. I heard that you had made your peace without me, and shame became another way to hide. I told myself you needed time to heal, but time was only teaching you to leave me. What began as one defensive sentence became the version of us you had to trust, and I became the woman I had pretended to explain. The lie was spoken in a moment. The silence made it true. Let me stay, you said, without asking me to decide. No promise beyond what the years might bring, but fear had already decided for me. I called your patience something I could not accept. The road ahead seemed too uncertain, and loving me looked like a cost you should not pay. So I chose the distance before you could choose to stand beside me, believing one goodbye would spare us both. You never asked to be protected from our future. Still I closed it before it had begun. Waiting was never what frightened me. It was being loved without an escape. So I refused what I wanted most. Freedom felt different. No one had been holding me back. The weight I feared had never been yours. It came from every doubt I carried alone. Years later I finally understood your meaning. You were not offering sacrifice. You were asking for the chance to face tomorrow together. And I answered for both. I mistook devotion for a burden, and kindness for a debt I could not repay. You offered time without demanding certainty, but I heard a promise I was bound to break. You were willing to beside me. I was the one who turned away. The waiting I refused became the future we never had. You might have grown tired, we might have changed. Nothing between us was guaranteed, but those were choices we should have made together, not endings I was entitled to decide alone. The distance was never meant to save you. It only kept our lives apart. You were willing to wait for love, and I refused before love had its chance. Nothing changed enough to make us name it. No final wound, no unforgiven word. We still asked how the other one was feeling, still listened when the answer took too long. But every meeting ended a little earlier, and every plan reached less far into the future. We called it peace because it did not hurt. Neither of us said what had already changed. No fight to tell us love was ending, no blame to make the truth feel clear. Only kindness holding us together. We kept the habits love had taught us, even after love had lost its place. You remembered when I needed reassurance. I knew when silence meant you needed space. We were careful not to disappoint each other, careful not to ask for something more. And all that care became a way of hiding how little we still reached for each other. No anger strong enough to free us, no promise strong enough to make us stay. Only kindness delaying the ending. Looking back, I know we both were waiting for one mistake to make the choice for us. Something sharp enough to break the tenderness, something neither one of us could forgive. But nothing came except another gentle parting. Another day we did not speak the truth. We did not lose our love in one last moment. We let it fade while treating it with care. No fight, no farewell, no final words to carry. We simply stopped becoming part of tomorrow. Still kind enough to spare each other pain, too kind to say that love was gone. No fight, no farewell. I was the one who slowly disappeared. Not when I failed you, but after you forgave me. You asked me to believe we could begin again. I answered by pulling further away. After forgiveness, I lived as if it never came. You let the past go, I kept bringing it back. You still made a place for me beside you, but I could not believe I belonged there. You never treated me like someone you could not trust. You never asked me to prove that I had changed. When I withdrew, you gave me room to return. When I lost courage, you did not lose faith. Still your trust felt like something borrowed. Every promise felt like more than I deserved. I watched you rebuild what I had damaged, then walked away from the life we still could have. I thought regret would prove how much I loved you. I thought I had no right to happiness, but punishing myself repaired nothing between us. It only made you carry hope alone, though you had already carried more than enough. After forgiveness, I kept punishing us both. You knew the truth and still chose to love me. I thought accepting joy would erase what I had done, so I refused the second chance you offered. What I had done had not yet ended us. My fear of being forgiven finally did. Now I understand what you were asking. Not for the woman I had been before, not for a promise I would never fail again. Only for me to stay and try again with you. You had forgiven what I could not undo, but I walked away from the future we still had. After forgiveness, love was not yet over. We still had the chance to begin again, but guilt became the only truth I trusted. Each time I left, returning became harder. You did not lose me because of what I had done. You lost me to the shame I chose to carry, and I lost us after forgiveness. The questions came from every and every voice demanded I decide. You turned to me, not asking me to fight, only to tell them I was still with you. I asked for time and called it being careful. I promised this would pass if we stayed calm. But while I waited for the fear to fade, you faced them all and found yourself alone. You looked at me, I looked away. They heard no answer, and neither did you. Everyone spoke, and I said nothing. That was the choice I claimed I had not made. Silence chose for me. It left me with the ones who stood against us. You did not leave because they disapproved. You left because I would not say I'm with you. There was one moment I could stand beside you. My silence chose for me. After you left, their anger soon grew quiet. The peace I waited for arrived too late, and no one was asking me to choose by then. And only then did all the words come back. I spoke your name when nothing stood at risk, and heard how empty courage sounds too late. Here's the truth I should have said that day. I loved you, and I wanted you to stay. But love was not enough when I would not stand beside you. I left you there to face them on your own, then called your leaving something they had done. Let every other voice fall away. The blame no longer belongs to them. I chose the distance each time I failed to say I'm here with you. You needed no victory or grand defense. You needed me beside you without fear. The world did not decide how we would end. My silence chose for me. It left you standing where I should have stood. You asked, are you happy now? I said I was, then asked the same of you. We answered without trying to soften anything, because there was nothing left to defend. Your laugh was exactly as I remembered it, but it no longer pulled me toward you. We spoke kindly without measuring each word, and I did not search your answers for a sign. Familiar, but no longer ours. We could speak without explaining who we had been. We could remember without asking for an answer. The ease between us belonged to that moment, and that was all either of us needed. Before that day, I had replayed our meeting, giving you apologies you never asked to hear. In every version, I found a way to ask you whether some part of us had still remained. But face to face, there was no need to explain. The lives we chose were already the answer. For years I had confused remembering you with wanting the two of us again. Then you said, "I'm glad we met again." I answered, "So am I," and meant it. No promise followed either sentence. No disappointment followed the goodbye. Familiar, but no longer ours. We could speak without explaining who we had been. We could remember without asking for an answer. Neither of us turned kindness into longing. Neither of us asked for one more chance. We let the meeting end exactly where it should. We said goodbye and meant only goodbye. For the first time, that was enough. I told myself your future needed distance, but staying with me would ask too much of you. I decided what your answer would have been before I ever gave you room to speak. You said we could face whatever came together, fear had already chosen what I heard. I treated your promise as a moment of courage, then left before you could ask me to stay, and spent years calling that decision love. I said leaving was the loving thing. I said your future mattered more than mine. I said someday you would understand. And called my fear a sacrifice. Years later, someone asked why we had ended. I gave the answer I had always used. I said your future needed more than I could offer, and staying would have held you back. But one truth kept returning with the years. You never asked me to decide for you. You asked for time, for patience and a chance. I heard a burden in your willingness to stay, then made a choice that should have belonged to both of us. What right did love give me to speak for you, or decide what you were strong enough to bear? You were not asking me to rescue you. You were asking me to trust your answer by leaving before your choice could matter. I turned our ending into mine alone. I will not say I left because I loved you. I will not dress that choice as something kind. Love without a choice was never mercy. I ended us before you could decide. You were ready to share whatever came. I was the one who would not hear your answer. Our goodbye began when I refused to ask. That choice was never mine alone. Tell me next time how it turned out. You said as we were about to part, I answered I will, certain there would be next time. There had been no argument between us, no final sentence either of us could remember. We spoke of days that had not happened yet, as if seeing each other again required no promise. I kept several things to tell you later. You spoke of plans that still included me. Nothing about that moment felt important then, so neither of us lingered before we left. The ending passed as an ordinary day. Our last time gave us no warning. At first, one missed week meant very little, and finding another day mattered less. We still knew how to speak to each other, but no new date followed the conversation. Neither of us said the love was ending. We simply let the next meeting remain uncertain. By the time I understood what had happened, there was no single day I could call the end. We spoke as if another day was certain. I saved my questions for when we met again. You left nothing meant to be a final word. We did not forget to say goodbye. We simply did not had begun. The days that followed made that moment final. The years revealed the end we never named. We parted expecting to meet again. That was the last thing we still shared. For years, one version of the ending survived. He walked away, and she was left behind. A simple story made the nights much easier. Whenever anyone asked what had happened, the answer came polished and complete. His change of heart became the only reason. His leaving became proof enough. Missing from that carefully repeated story were all the times he tried to reach her, and all the love she said was still alive, while silence slowly took its place between them. Memory, you kept the wounds that favored one side and buried everything that challenged that version. Pride shaped the past into a refuge, and blame made every answer easier. Years later, that familiar explanation returned without a single change. But every word sounded too certain for a love that belonged to two people. He had asked whether anything remained. The answer had been yes, but nothing followed. When his last effort finally ended, exhaustion was remembered as abandonment. He did not leave without trying. He left after hope had worn away. The silence had begun the separation long before the final step was taken. What looked like cruelty from a distance had grown from years of being unheard. Memory, now keep the pieces, pride removed. Keep every question met with silence. Keep every chance that passed unanswered. His leaving was not where the ending began. The ending had been forming much earlier. The truth is heavier than blame. But at last, the story belongs to both. No side needs to win the past. Only the whole truth needs to remain.